Hi, I'm Tom. I'm an offer holder for medicine at Christ College, Cambridge, and I've been asked to take you through what I did to prepare for the application and the interview. A reasonable place to start is in the subject choice. Long before I knew which universities I was going to apply for, I knew I was going to apply for medicine. But I'd only really made that decision at the start of lower sixth. It was made clear to me then that for medicine, regardless of where you want to study and for any course at Oxbridge, you have to be absolutely certain that that's what you want to do. Only then will you have enough space to prepare for all the tests and reading and immersion that's required of you. The earlier you decide this, the more space you have. This, of course, comes with the trade-off that the earlier you decide, the less well informed you are, so the less certain you can really be. That's why it's important for you to start researching courses and careers now, if you haven't already. For an Oxbridge applicant, I had substandard GCSE results. Most websites will tell you that the normal grades that an applicant holds are 8 A stars. However, this is because the majority of people take 9 GCSEs. So in most of their subjects, they achieve top marks. Out of the 11 subjects I took, only 5 of those were the top grades, 4 A stars and 1 9. This put me at a disadvantage going into the application process, as it's been made apparent that Oxbridge does not care about how many GCSEs you have. They care about the proportion of top marks you got in them. I spent time with my form tutor, Mr. Marlowe, using resources online to calculate the approximate mark I would have to achieve in my BMAT, the entrance test for medicine, to be likely to be invited for interview. I was asked if I thought I could achieve this mark on a notoriously difficult exam. That was a really difficult question to answer. I set about researching the BMAT and about other parameters that the colleges take into account when considering your application in an attempt to boost my profile in areas that were under my control. For me, this consisted of reading many books, more than the few I put on my personal statement. I also wrote and conducted a scientific study that was due to be published in a conference last month. I chose to do an EPQ. I was aware going into the process that the EPQ wouldn't lower grade boundaries for medicine, nor is it likely to for any Oxbridge course. However, it does allow you to dedicate a significant proportion of your school time to researching an area of specific interest to you. This can prove to be a very useful talking point in an interview, allowing you to show your passion for the subject as long as your EPQ is actually relevant in some form to the course to which you are applying. A final thing I found very useful in learning about my course and options for a career was work experience. I've been in multiple different environments that have each taught me lots about the working world. I would urge everyone, when it becomes available again, to do it. No singular thing has made me more passionate about my course and about my chosen career path than work experience. Until that becomes available, make use of all the plethora of online resources that are at your disposal. A very important message that I was reminded of many times during the Oxbridge programme is that achieving high grades in the A-level exams are a minimum requirement and expectation. That is, if you actually have to take the exams. Interviews will not spend time asking you questions that a paper will ask you months later. They're instead searching for qualities that are listed on the university's websites. One such example is from History at Oxford that says, clarity of expression and thought, precision of analysis, flexibility of argument, and sheer enthusiasm for the subject, a raw intellectual curiosity which encourages the student to think and question. Interviewers are likely to be faculty members who, if you're successful, will be working with you closely for several years. So they're also looking for someone who they can get along with. For example, my first interview consisted of 2 men who were clearly good friends. I had to make sure to match this atmosphere while still maintaining a degree of seriousness that, of course, is present in such a circumstance. In my second interview, I was introduced to a scenario where first aid was necessary. I said, you should probably call an ambulance. At that point, it was made clear to me how many applicants that day had forgotten to say something so simple under the pressure not of the imaginary casualty, but of the interview. So, how do you get the qualities they're looking for? Well, the chances are, if you're thinking of applying to Oxbridge, you already have them somewhere. It's now your job to ensure that they're seen in your personal statement, in your reports, and in every academic and co-curricular thing you do from now until your final exam. All I can give you now is my best of luck, and goodbye.